Good afternoon, guys. Welcome to a brand new episode of MTB. I'm Ashley Rowe, and today we're going to making a brand new recording in regards to how this project is structured. So the other day, I uploaded some really nice looking images to Facebook, Instagram, and all the other social media feeds, and I think there was a little bit confusion of what that was. So today I'm going to break down what this is. So, long story short, we are working on a massive scene in regards to the environment we're creating in Blender. So, as we see, we've got a range of buildings that we've created, and we've essentially gone for a set time period. So, what we've gone for is the 1970s, and we absolutely love the film Goodfellas. We've put it down to a vote. We wanted, I don't know, Sopranos, Casino, and the all-time classic Goodfellas. I love that mobster vibe. I think there's something really cool to get out of it, and essentially it's about turning a real-life place. So this is Richmond, Canada. It's a city block that's been used for a range of film sets, and this is me making my mark and my next project to get me back into 3D to make this into a essentially a range of dioramas. So each of these buildings is going to be a small diorama in which there's going to be a load of stuff going on inside of them, and we want them to feel, I don't know, accurate to the time period. So we're going to have to take some creative liberties with this project. So all the Google Maps data is being generated to create these. So I've created all these little buildings based off Google Maps data. I've gone on and I've modeled it all, and this is how we've got the buildings. Now, we've found throughout this project that, yep, we are basing it off 2025. Its latest data in regards to the world. It's modern, and we want to make sure that we want to meet the target of the aesthetic and the themes that we are creating inside of our scene. So this means doing two things: making a set time period for the scene we're making, a certain lighting style that's going to be used to kind of fit the aesthetic of Scorsese with Goodfellas, and also implementing architecture types which were used in New York City and adapting them for Richmond, Canada. So this is based in Richmond, Canada, and as I said earlier, it's made for a range of scenes. So what I've done for this is I've made my block out, as you can see here. We've created a range of buildings. We've got a variety of different types of buildings, and we've essentially we've set some parameters. We want it to be an Unreal Engine 5. We want a certain type of light setup, and we want it to meet that visual standard of Martin Scorsese's Goodfellas. To do that, I've essentially used Google Gemini to generate a range of images, which you can see to the right hand side. So on this is our visual mood board of concept art that has essentially been made from the block out in my scene based on the parameters I've set. So in this essence, it has taken the diner and it's put it on a different angle. It's placed it next to that building over there, which it's not really going to work, but we get an overall idea of the bigger scene of how these buildings will be fitted together in terms of the overall scene. So we see it takes the front of the building, it applies it to the back of that, but what we've actually got is a concept piece for this. So now we know what type of materials we're going to make, what type of lighting, do we need to add a vehicle in there, what type of props do we want to add, and maybe some signage. We want to make sure this is fitting to the scene, so we're going to work with that. We've also got a range of other things in there. So in this case, we've decided that is no longer going to be a diner. It's going to be a tavern. It fits the aesthetic of a tavern, So let's make that into a tavern, and instead we're going to turn this into a big diner. We've actually we've uploaded this building into Google Gemini, in which then it's generated this image to create I guess a concept for how we're going to be proceeding with this project. Let's have a look at some others. We've got the diner, which we've had a look at. The overall scene inside the diner, that's going to be an interesting one to have a look at. So inside the diner, we've got a range of things placed inside. So it's taken the seating from this scene. It's taken the seating from this scene and it's adapted the visual standards for what is going to be used. So essentially different types of carpets, different types of prop placement. So these things will potentially have to change, but you get an overall idea of how this is going to come together, just to make it feel authentic. So we're going to feel about carpets, what type of carpet is going to be used, what type of seating is going to be used, what's going on with a bar, what type of drinks they have. You know, we're not going to make real brands, but we want it to feel authentic in regards to that time period. So we've got a range of different concepts based from the front view and the side views to kind of give you an overall visual of how you're going to walk into that scene. I want it to feel alive. Next on this list, we've got some other concepts in which we've taken these buildings around here and made these two types of concept pieces to ensure that, you know, the world feels alive, if you will. We want it to feel like, you know, it's doomy, it's gloomy, it's got that aesthetic of neon lights around it, and we want to make sure that the world feels authentic. Now, whether or not I add cars to this scene, that'll be a very different thing. My background isn't in modelling automotive vehicles, but I do have experience in hard surface, so I'd rather focus on one step at a time. So let's have a look at some other concepts that we've kind of come up with. So this is a great example of what we mean by we need a visual standard. So in this regard, we've got a building, a large building that we don't know what we want to do with it. We need it to feel like a sense of place within the world. So we need to know what type of materials are going to go onto walls, what's going to go into the windows, what's going to be on a shop front. Like, all these things need to be thought about. So in this regard, maybe we've got, I don't know, a different type of storefront there. We want to make sure that's cool. We've got a dodgy office block going on upstairs. We want to make sure these people feel and the world feels like it was part of that time period. Moving onwards, we've got the garage. Now, we did originally model it like the real world asset, but I really like what this is going for. So there might be some spelling errors, but essentially, as I said, we've used Google AI as a generator of concept art based on the parameters of the block out that we've created here. I've kind of set the parameters of Tony's Motors. I thought, dodgy guy. You've got paint sparking off the walls. We've got grunge going on. We want it to feel dodgy. Maybe there's a stolen car being stripped for parts. We're thinking the guy's a bit of a dodgy guy, bit of a backhander, slip an envelope type of thing. We want it to feel authentic. And then to the side, even though this building isn't open, we can rearrange this building around. It will take a little bit of work, but it means we can fit within the concept confines of this scene. So in this sense, I've made it a sporting goods shop. Maybe you can buy some weapons, different types of things we want to do, you know. So overall, essentially the Google AI images are to set a visual benchmark for what this scene's going to be. So in this sense, we've actually got a concept for how we're going to be seeing the final scene, in regards to your lighting, your materials, and the types of props that are made for this environment. So I hope this clears some things up. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and we'll see you next time. See you later.